first. It was her first US number one, and therefore Jimmy Webb's first US number one ever of all time.
I have MacArthur Park on 7-inch, and it's got this cool fucking thing at the end of it. It's the only one I own that I know that does this. There's a weird loop back in the groove. So when it gets to the last riff, just the last kind of 4 bars of the riff, it loops back in itself. So it's like it will play infinitely.
Yeah.
So when the song is almost over, it has this weird crossover in the groove that it brings it back to the start of that riff again, and it just plays the riff infinitely forever. So it was obviously designed for disco DJs.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the end.
But that's a really weird song to pick. I think Marauder, when he was trying to pick a song to do with Donna Summer, he wanted something a bit mad. He wanted to do a version of a song that no one expected him to do. So it's a good idea if you're doing disco is to do something mad like that.
I feel Love after that before that?
I think that was after. Yeah, because I Feel Love would have been her first, would have been a number one, surely.
But
and this was her first number one. Anyway, that's MacArthur Park is an absolute legend of a song. It's long. It's his voice. He brings a massive amount of drama to it because he's a drama actor. Who's your next one?
My next one is Samantha Fox.
Yeah, I had this on my short list. So we had this is the one where you did a draft system. So
so Samantha Fox. I don't know whether if you are younger than us, you're not going to know who Samantha Fox is. I don't think. Samantha Fox was famous for being. Jesus, it's a very, very English thing. It's even hard to explain. She was a glamour model, which is essentially the English way of saying that she done like topless.
Page 3.
Yes, a page is tabloid, but that's very British. Irish people kind of understand that because we had those newspapers as well. So she was a glamour model.
Boobs in your average newspaper.
Yeah, exactly. So essentially,
a kid would have access basically to pornography at any stage.
Anytime you wanted. So the whole idea was back in the day, you would buy pretty much any newspaper, bar the real serious ones like the Times or something like that. Yeah. But any kind of tabloidy bullshit, Sun, Star, Mirror, blah blah blah.
They only had boobs of information.
Yes, exactly.
That's what would tantalise you there.
Yeah,
stocks.
Titillate you. But the
tabloids, more you think about that, it's mental.
It's mad. It's fucking insane.
Like nude woman every third page. Yeah. Or not every third page.
There was the third page, right? And then there was the Daily Sport, was it? That was just porn with the odd
bit of football
result. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Lexi Lala staring there.
Exactly, yeah. So on the third page of all these tabloids, there would be a topless young girl. And it was huge. It was a full page.
Full page?
Yeah. Full colour. And it was just a topless girl, every tabloid, every fucking day. That's just the way it was fucking insane. This is the 80s, right? So
the more you think about
it's fucking insane. So Samantha, this is where it gets double fucked up. Samantha Fox started as a glamour model doing topless shots at the age of 16.
Yeah, they used to get 16-year-olds in.
Yeah. Now,
grim
she done it because she wanted to do it, apparently, but more so than anything else, her parents wanted her to do it. So they signed off on they gave permission for her to appear topless in the newspaper. I was going to show you. Now, before she was a glamour model at the age of 16, she had already put out a single. She was supposed to be a musician.
Right.
Now, it's hard to get information on it, but the song that was put out...
Because you were looking at all the pictures.
Yeah. Duh. And Jesus Christ. She was supposed to be a musician. She released her first single in 1983. This is before the glamour modeling days. And the song, this is weird, the song was written by somebody to do with Deep Purple. Right? I don't remember what the name of the song was. But someone who had something to do with Deep Purple. I don't know whether it was a member of Deep Purple.
Deep Purple. Shallow Pink, more like.
Exactly. Oh. So...
No need for that.
Someone from Deep Purple, it could have been a band they formed after Deep Purple or some shit like that, wrote this song for Samantha Fox.
Ritchie Blackmore, calling out now.
I don't know.
You horrible bastard.
I don't know.
I'm only joking. It's probably not him.
I don't know who it was.
Well, to be fair, this was when she was just...
Johnny a babby at this stage, like a real kid. So
can't hang that.
She does now. Exactly. She does her glamour modeling career. She decides to knock it on the head, and she comes out with a song called "Touch Me."
It's a great song.
1986.
Well, it's a great song.
It's very of the twin.
80s pop.
It's very of the twin. Yeah. But it fucking explodes. It's fucking huge. It's number one in 17 countries. Countries that do not know what a glamour model is or a page 3 is or anything like that. They only know now Samantha Fox.
They put that in her nudies and the newspaper every day. Every day.
here's where it gets fucking weird. I think that the song would have been very popular because of her glamour career. Now the song is good; it stands on its own merit. But I think that once word got out that this girl who has this music video and we're seeing shots of her, she's a good-looking girl. That we know now. There's loads of pictures of her with her tits out. That's going to back it up.
Well, it would be a talking point in England. Massively.
Yeah, but I'm talking about even worldwide. Once word gets out that she's done topless modelling before, everybody starts talking about this.
Was enough was big in England before it went?
I don't know. Right. I couldn't tell you. I can tell you that fucking it launched. It was 1986, and fucking within I think a couple of weeks it was number one in 17 different countries. She done 6 albums in total. She actually released one in 2005, which is real weird.
Yeah, she still kept going with it.
Yeah, she kept going, but she would have been like the 1980s most popular glamour model. And what's fucked up about it is that like, the first thing I go to when I'm talking about this woman's pop career is her fucking glamour model days. Because
well, that's part of this podcast, to be fair.
Exactly. Like, but at the same time, like, it is what brought her into the public eye. I don't know whether she could have launched a pop career off the back of not being a page 3 model.
To be honest with you, I think she could have because it was the 80s and that song. No, she might not have got that song.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
That's what I'm saying. Like they are part and parcel of each other. Like one launched the other, and I think the back end of that one then was just more content for people to talk about.
That's kind of a common theme with this.
Absolutely,
podcast.
They're all linked together.
They're
but that song,
that
song was it was huge, and it was huge for years. It was one of those kind of birthday party songs, you know what I mean? Where it was played at every fucking wedding and birthday party. But yeah, Samantha Fox.
Another thing about Samantha Fox is, if you're a fella and you like her, you can't have her.
Why not?
Doesn't like the fellas.
Is she gay?
I think so, yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
She's married.
I've no idea. I didn't go that deep into it.
I'm almost positive, yeah.
I've no idea.
Yeah, no, Samantha Fox.
Fair play. Fucking fair play to her missus as well.
You can't have that.
Got a hold of a little rocket. Little rocket she is. Little rocket.
You sound like someone who reads one of those papers now.
Exactly, yeah. She's a little rocket.
Rubbing her legs slowly.
She's a beauty.
She's brilliant, and I have a lot of time for that song. It's brilliant. It's a brilliant song.
Who's our next one?
My next one is Paul Medford and Letitia Dean. The song is Something Out of Nothing.
How do we know them names?
Because it's Sharon from EastEnders.
Fuck up.
Sharon from EastEnders and Kelvin Carpenter from EastEnders.
Fuck off.
So, in the mid-80s, EastEnders had a storyline where some of these people joined a band. And the band was called The Band, BANNED, The Band. And they were called The Band because they got kicked out of Queen Vic in their first gig. This song is on an album called EastEnders, Peggy's Theme.
Fuck off.
And the first song is called Peggy's Theme. This was EastEnders writers' attempt to sort of get a grey area between real life and
the show.
So in the show, these people were releasing, like Ian Beale was in the band.
Life imitating art.
Yeah. So Ian Beale and stuff was in the band, and they like did a few little competitions, like song competitions, and they tried out into Queen Vic and stuff like that. But the song was quite big in real life because obviously to capitalise on it, they released it.
Yeah, of course.
And this was a storyline that they were hoping was going to take off.
Yeah.
And you know, the connoisseurs of EastEnders were having none of it. They were like, God, no, this is not for us.
Jesus
but
Christ.
To be fair, it got to number 2 in the charts, I believe. They really apparently it was a real attempt to tie in like more of this. They were going to try and do this a lot, but because it was affecting EastEnders so badly that they just kind of knocked on the head. But in that time, I think they had 2.
Let It Die.
Yeah. The band, they weren't called The Band, it was called Paul Medford and Letitia Dean. Yeah. It's one of the worst songs I've ever heard. Something Out of Nothing, I would call it nothing out of absolutely nothing. It's written by Simon May, that guy that wrote the EastEnders theme.
Really?
Famous song. Is it the second most famous drum roll apart from Phil Collins in the air tonight?
And they're the same.
It's the same.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I've even ripped that off at some stage in my career.
Career. State you.
My bedroom songs. Yeah.
Bedroom songs.
That's what my music is.
Come here, what are you having for breakfast?
What am I having for breakfast tomorrow?
Tomorrow, like.
Why are you asking me
I
that?
don't know. I'm thinking about what I'm going to have for breakfast tomorrow.
Is this story boring you sound?
No. It's just my brain works in about 4 different quadrants.
Tomorrow, knowing that I didn't go shopping today when I was supposed to, I will have my one remaining board's eye potato waffle, and I will probably stick some beans on it, or else I think of an egg left.
That'll do. Both. Double up.
Double up, yeah.
Do you have any cheese?
Double up. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You got to
Yeah,
put cheese
of
in
course.
that. Yeah.
Put cheese in your beans.
But not on the egg. I'm worried about putting cheese on the
cheese.
egg.
I had a roll with fried eggs and grated cheese in it.
I really
today
thought
for
you were
breakfast.
building up to a joke here.
No, I'm not. I'm just telling you what I had for breakfast. And I think I might have the same tomorrow. Well, I might have scrambled egg on toast. That's what I have. Anyway, yeah, EastEnders, yeah.
So apparently in the show, they've made light of it up until like 2010, where Ian Beale was going through his photos, and they pulled out a picture of the band.
Really?
And he said to... the weird thing about Letitia Dean is, right, I had a massive crush on her when I was a kid. Like that, like...
Which one is she?
The Booby Blonde.
Maybe. I know.
I say Booby Blonde.
It was
We're getting very English. The Booby Blonde.
She a Booby Blonde, isn't she?
Sharon from EastEnders was one of my first crushes as a kid.
I don't know what's going on. Football and bleeding soap operas in the one podcast. I haven't a clue what's going on.
Funny story about that was she went out with Ed Bourne, the Irish comedian, for years. Yeah. And he was in Fibbers one time. And I almost made the joke. I was like, you're with Letitia Dean, she's fucking gorgeous. But I decided to not do that.
You just wore the face up instead?
Yeah. No. Ed Bourne, it was weird. We're in Fibbers, and I think we were just... He's a lovely fella, because his brother drank at Fibbers as well. Nice guy as well. And Ed Bourne was... And we were all on a dance floor. I remember, for some reason... We were all jumping on each other during Rage Against the Machine. And Ed Bourne jumped on my back, and I was like, he's way heavier than I thought he'd be.
Really?
I dropped him.
He's only 20 little fella.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
You just dropped him. Ed Bourne.
Someone jumps in their back.
Of course.
He was in Fibbers quite a bit. You know, you'd see him every now and then. He's a nice fella. He was going out with Letitia Dean. I was infinitely jealous about that as well.
Dirt.
Yeah, infinitely jealous.
You dirt fucker.
About Sharon from EastEnders, because her name is Letitia Dean, which is a much more interesting name than
much better than
Sharon Watts. Sharon Watts.
Sharon Watts.
Yeah, she would have been one of my first crushes.
Really?
And that song with Paul Medford is terrible.
I'm going to have a listen to that.
You should have a listen to it.
Will.
Listen to the whole Peggy's Team EP.
Sounds amazing.
Yes, there's 2 big songs off it that were big in England. The storyline was a failure. They banished that. Trying to cash in outside EastEnders, risky manoeuvre.
Yeah, I think didn't they do like EastEnders Monopoly and all at one stage?
Oh God.
To be fair, soap operas were so big on one stage they took over the world.
I have a friend from London, and I constantly call EastEnders his news. I'm like, do you watch the news today?
Is EastEnders even set in London?
The East End of London.
I don't know. I hate London's kip.
I'm not a big fan of London either.
Fuck a shithole.
No, it's got some nice places, but London itself is one of the rudest. I sound like Alan Partridge now.
Yeah. It's one
of the rudest places in England.
It's a fucking kip. And it takes 4 hours to get anywhere.
Yeah, even though they have the amazing
public transport.
Public transport.
But it goes anywhere near where you want to go.
All the gigs are on in Camden down, and you have to go to Camden, like the cultural spot of London.
Fuck off.
God. Yeah. Oh. Funny story about Camden. It's a kip. It's where Sean Bean drinks. And apparently he was he stabbed in Camden and went back to finish his pint before going to the hospital?
I thought you were talking about fucking Sean Hughes. I was like, he's dead.
Of a stab wound? No.
Of drink.
Sean Bean apparently was in an altercation and got either stabbed. No, he got stabbed, and went back to finish his point. Before he got a hospital.
Hard fucker. Yeah. He lasted longer than he does in the films, and anyway.
Hey! Here's our next one.
Dum bush.
And on that cliffhanger, what's our next one?
Robert Downey Jr. Yeah, I didn't know this. I honestly didn't know this. We talked about this before. There's a bunch of actors who had solid music careers at the same time as well. But Robert Downey Jr. is not one of them. So
he talk about a comeback for his career, though.
Oh yeah,
because he is a great actor. He is a great actor.
All down to Burger King.
And
again, Burger King twice on this podcast. Jesus Christ,
down to Burger King.
Burger King. Apparently, at his lowest point, absolute fucked up on all sorts of drugs, gargled the whole shebang. They replicated it in one of the Iron Man films, where he at fucking 9 o'clock in the morning, he'd been out for a week. He's in shite, and he has this absolute moment of clarity. He goes into Burger King, buys a Whopper, and he just sits down on this grassy knoll overlooking Los Angeles, and he has this moment of clarity where he just decides, I can't drink or do drugs anymore. eats his burger.
That Whopper was so good.
It's so good.
He goes, this is what I want to live for.
Do you know, it's probably gave him fucking food poison, and he couldn't do fucking anything for 2 weeks. But yeah, they replicate it in one of the Iron Man movies. I think
That's almost like the David Hasselhoff burger story, except pretty sure he still kept going with the gargle.
Is that not the one where he tried to fucking strangle someone with a burger or something?
No, he came home